At 84 years old, Nancy Guthrie should have been resting peacefully, safe within the walls of her own home, a cherished mother and grandmother. She resided in the quiet, affluent Catalina Foothills of Arizona, an area known for its serenity and security. Her nights were supposed to be uneventful, but in the first dark hours of February 1st, 2026, that profound sense of peace was violently shattered. The sanctuary of her home was breached, leaving behind a disturbing trail of chilling evidence. This evidence didn't point to an elderly woman who had simply wandered off, but to one who was deliberately and forcibly taken. A door forced open, its frame splintered, a security camera, the home's digital eye, intentionally disabled, and just minutes later, another camera capturing the fleeting, ghostly image of an armed intruder moving through the shadows of the house. This is the minute-by-minute breakdown of the night Nancy Guthrie was stolen from her life. We will piece together the terrifyingly precise timeline of a brazen abduction that has not only baffled a multi-agency task force, but has also sent a wave of fear through a tight-knit community and left a family, including her famous daughter, NBC's Savannah Guthrie, in a desperate, agonizing search for answers. To truly grasp the shock and horror of this event, you must first understand the woman at the center of it all. Nancy Guthrie, born in 1942, was by every account the matriarch and pillar of her family. Following the tragic and early death of her husband, Charles, she single-handedly raised 3 children. Among them was Savannah, who would later become a household name as the co-anchor of the Today Show, bringing news into millions of American homes each morning. Despite her 84 years, Nancy remained active and engaged with her community. She was a faithful attendee at her local church and served as an unwavering source of love, stability, and guidance for her children and grandchildren. But with age also came a vulnerability. Her mobility was significantly limited, making it difficult for her to walk even short distances on her own. This fact would become a grim cornerstone of the investigation. Furthermore, she relied on daily medication for a heart condition and was fitted with a pacemaker. Critical details had added a terrifying urgency to the search from the moment it began. Her last normal day was Saturday, January 31st, 2026. She had spent a quiet, pleasant evening having dinner and playing games with her daughter Annie and son-in-law, Tommaso Cioni. It was a scene of perfect domestic tranquility. At approximately 9:45 that night, Tommaso drove her the short distance home, saw her safely inside, and watched the garage door close before he left. It is the last confirmed sighting of Nancy Guthrie. Everything appeared completely normal, but in the silent hours that followed, as the neighborhood slept, something would go terribly, violently wrong. The timeline of what happened next, pieced together from the digital breadcrumbs the intruder attempted to erase, is both precise and terrifying. The first calculated move was made at 1:47 a.m. on February 1st. At that exact moment, the doorbell camera at Nancy's home was disconnected, its connection to the network severed. The house was now partially blind, its first line of digital defense defeated. The intruder, however, was not aware of every system. 25 agonizingly silent minutes ticked by. Then, at 2:12 a.m., a different camera on the property detected motion. This footage, which was later painstakingly recovered by the FBI from Google's back-end servers, provides the first and only glimpse of the man who broke into Nancy Guthrie's home. The grainy video shows a masked and gloved figure, a handgun clearly visible in a holster on his waist, moving inside the house. He uses a flashlight to navigate the darkness, and is seen grabbing vegetation from a nearby plant to try and obscure the lens of the second camera. FBI forensic analysis later estimated the man to be between 5 feet 9 inches and 5 feet 10 inches with an average build, carrying a very specific backpack, a black 25-liter Ozark Trail hiker pack, a model sold exclusively at Walmart. For the next 16 minutes, from the moment the second camera was tampered with, there's only a void. What happened inside that house is unknown. The digital trail goes cold, and the home falls into an ominous silence. After this point, Nancy Guthrie was gone. Hours later, as the Sunday morning sun rose over the Catalina Foothills, Nancy's absence was quickly noted, a creature of habit. Her failure to arrive for the morning church service was the first red flag. A concerned member of the congregation contacted the family, who immediately went to her home to check on her. They arrived around 11 a.m., but after a frantic search of the house and the surrounding property, they found no sign of Nancy. Her personal belongings, her purse, her keys, her phone, were all left behind. She hadn't just left. At 12:03 p.m., the family made a frantic 911 call. Pima County Sheriff's deputies were on the scene just 12 minutes later. What they discovered immediately shifted this from a missing persons welfare check into a major criminal investigation. There were clear, unmistakable signs of forced entry. The scene told a story that completely contradicted any possibility of her wandering off on her own. Bloodstains were discovered at the entrance of the home. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos was blunt and unequivocal in his assessment, stating that with her severe mobility issues, Nancy couldn't have walked 50 yards on her own, let alone vanish without a trace. It was clear from the very beginning. This was an abduction. Forensic teams descended upon the home, and the FBI was brought in within hours, a clear signal of the gravity of the situation. A mother and grandmother had been violently snatched from her own home in the dead of night. The investigation that followed has been one of the most intense and widespread in recent Arizona history, involving hundreds of officers from local, state, and federal agencies. So, what did all that manpower and effort uncover? We're going to delve into the mountain of evidence, the frustrating leads, and the competing theories in just a moment. First, if you find this kind of detailed, in-depth analysis compelling, please consider subscribing to our channel. Your support is what allows us to continue shining a light on important cases like this one. The investigation immediately exploded in scale and scope. The FBI offered a $100,000 reward for information, and an anonymous donor quickly added another $100,000 to a separate Crime Stopper fund, bringing the total to over $200,000. The public responded with a deluge of information. Over 40,000 tips poured into the various agencies. But for all the evidence collected, investigators were met with a series of frustrating dead ends. The surveillance footage provided a clear physical description of the suspect, right down to his Walmart exclusive backpack, but his face remained hidden behind a mask. Authorities began a laborious process of working with Walmart to trace sales of that specific bag, hoping for a thread that could lead them to a person of interest. Then came another potential break. About 2 miles from Nancy's home, a black glove was discovered that appeared to match the one seen in the surveillance video. It was sent for priority DNA testing and yielded a profile of an unknown male. However, when that profile was run through CODIS, the FBI's National Criminal DNA Database, there was no match. To further complicate matters, investigators found additional, separate DNA inside the residence that belonged neither to Nancy nor her family. That sample also failed to produce a match in CODIS. This strongly suggested that the person or people responsible had no prior felony convictions in the system, making them a virtual ghost of law enforcement. As of late February, investigators have turned to the painstaking and complex process of investigative genetic genealogy, hoping to build a family tree from the recovered DNA to identify their suspect. Throughout the search, rumors have swirled. Tabloid media reported on unverified ransom notes demanding cryptocurrency, but authorities have never publicly confirmed their authenticity. The Guthrie family, including Savannah, made a heart-wrenching public plea, stating their willingness to do anything to secure Nancy's safe return. The family, their spouses, and all other close relations were quickly and definitively cleared by investigators as having any involvement. The physical search itself has been immense. Hundreds of personnel have scoured the vast, rugged Arizona desert. Authorities even deployed a helicopter equipped with a signal sniffer to try and detect a transmission from Nancy's pacemaker. But the effort yielded no success. Given Tucson's proximity to the U.S.-Mexico border, American authorities also contacted their counterparts in Mexico as a precaution, though no evidence suggests she was ever taken out of the country. As of today, more than 3 weeks after she was violently taken from her home, Nancy Guthrie is still missing. The exhaustive search has yielded tens of thousands of tips, multiple DNA profiles, and a clear video of a suspect, yet no arrests have been made and no persons of interest have been named. Investigators have not ruled out the possibility that more than one person was involved in the abduction. Sheriff Chris Nanos has made impassioned public pleas directed squarely at the person or people responsible. Just let her go. It will work out better for you in the long run. Take her to a park. Take her to the hospital. Just let her go. He insists that the massive, ongoing effort is still a rescue mission, not a recovery operation, clinging to faith that Nancy is still alive. In the Catalina Foothills, yellow ribbons and banners reading "Bring Her Home" now adorn the neighborhood. A constant, silent prayer from a community shaken to its very core. For the Guthrie family, the unending wait is an unimaginable torment. For investigators, the clock ticks ever louder. And for an armed, masked man with backpack, the secret of what happened that night, and where Nancy Guthrie is now, remains as to keep. The case remains terrifyingly active and tragically unsolved.